Hey guys, Lauren Brooks here, and today I'm going to finally do that squat analysis that we talked about 2 weeks ago. Sorry, I went out of town, so it's kept me really busy since I got back, so I'm finally getting around to being able to discuss squat A that I posted versus squat B. So shockingly, it was pretty even if you go back to the post to see how many people felt squat A was correct versus squat B, and some people said somewhere in the middle. So today we're going to talk about that, and I'm going to show you the squat A that I posted. I'm going to quickly do it here, and then I'm going to show you how we could do that squat A better. And then we're going to talk about squat B, and then I'm going to, towards the end of this video, going to show a few different squats, and we're going to talk about it from different people who've shared their squat with me. All right, because there are different ways to squat, clearly, and for different kinds of structures, depending on if you have like a really tall torso or really tight ankles. There's just so much to it. All right, so let's quickly go over a very common way I see people squatting, and then I'm going to tell you my opinion. I've been training bodies for 20 years, so this is a professional opinion. I am not a doctor or a physical therapist, but these are things that I've seen over the years of what has worked with people and what has not worked with people. Okay, so squat A, I'm not going to say this is right or wrong yet. So this is the squat A I posted 1 or 2 weeks ago, leading with the knees coming straight down, going all the way down, losing the curve in the back, and then coming on up. I also showed it with a little more speed, dropping down and then coming up, dropping down through the knees and then coming up. Okay, so let me tell you what I think about this squat. Is it wrong? Not for everybody, but it is wrong for the majority of the people that I train. Okay, now for the majority of the people I train, most of the people are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Many of them were athletes, many of them are not, and they've had knee and hip issues. And so when you just kind of drop into a squat like that, number one, you're not loading very well. You're letting gravity take over. That's number two. So therefore, when you're not loading and gravity is doing the work, and then you're trying to get the tension to come back up, it does put you at risk of injury. You're hanging off the ligaments at the bottom, okay? Now, it could feel good for 6 to 12 months or even 2 years. Okay, that's how I used to squat in my 20s and probably even in my early 30s, and I was perfectly fine. Okay, so I'm not saying that this squat is bad. I'm just saying, in my professional opinion, I have found that there is more efficient, safer squats that will let you squat heavier or just simply squat for many more years without injuries. Now, when I particularly do the squat I just showed you, I feel my hip flexors chime in quite a bit. I feel a stretch on my knee. Okay, luckily I don't have any pain, so I'm going to be totally fine. The other thing you might have noticed when I'm squatting down is I lose my arch, okay? And so therefore my glutes are relaxed, everything's relaxed. I lose it all, so I have to, when I'm loaded, I have to come back up through it. So it does also compress your lumbar. So if you've ever had any back issues, it does also put you at risk. Now, when I'm doing like my warm-ups with stretching, then lose your lumbar curve all you want. But if you're doing double front squats and you're loaded and you come straight down and then have to really get that tension to come back up, it makes it a lot harder and just riskier. So again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying, in my professional opinion, I feel there is a better way. Okay, so now let's move into B. So I probably exaggerated a little bit in my B video just to really show the distinction, but really the distinction is how I move and then also how low I'm going. So this is for a loaded squat. Again, not traditional squats. If you're just body weight, go as low as you need to depending on your structure. And it's also pacing. Okay, so for squat B, pushing my knees open, still pushing my knees open. I'm going to still bend my knees. I'm still bending my knees a lot, but this time I'm sitting back a lot more, pushing my knees open, sitting back, okay? So I could go lower here, okay? I could go a little lower, but do you notice, now notice the pace. I'm pulling, I feel nothing in my knees, I feel my hamstrings, my glutes, and my quads. So doing it this way, it provides a lot more activation. It takes away the compression on your lumbar spine. You're staying tighter. It also forces you to have that mobility to pull, pull, and pull. So could that squat that you just saw be a lot better? And how does it look on other people? So I'm going to show you what it looks like to pull down into your squat on other people in just a moment. But let me quickly show you what it looks like as soon as I put shoes on. So I may have some ankle restrictions. Okay, I probably have a little bit of ankle tightness. So let me show you squat A and squat B with shoes on. So give me just a second. Okay, so shoes and plates underneath the heels make a huge difference in squats. So let me show you squat A again. That's the one where you just drop down, okay? That's the first one. It's the one that I showed you, but this is the time with shoes. Okay, so you might notice my back looks a little straighter because what's happening is I have a heel lift. So my squat A is safer with heels, okay? You can use kettlebells if you choose to do it that way. I still feel it more in my hip flexors personally, and I do invite you to try different kinds of squats to see what the best squat is for you. Now let's do it in squat B and see if I can get back further and even down further because of the heels. Okay, we don't want to get too used to it, but it is nice to change. There's a reason why you also see power lifters using these special shoes with major heels, okay, because the amount of weight they need to keep a safe back, it makes sense to actually add a little heel to it. All right, so let's see squat B's version with a heel lift. So a lot lower, but I'm still pulling back and down. It's not just down, it's also back. So I'm recruiting more muscles this way, taking the pressure off my hip flexors. A lot of people get so sore here, taking the pressure off my knees. And I do believe that this version of squats will allow you a much longer life in squatting. Okay, that is my personal belief. Now, can we bring squat A and squat B together? Can we find a happy medium with them? Absolutely, sure. I've been kind of playing with this a lot because I really have been enjoying squat B lately. I started off in my life with squat A. That's how we did it. That's how I was taught. If you look at my old pictures, it's astrograph. That's what they call it. Regardless of what your lower back was doing, it was just low, okay? Now, luckily I didn't have any issues with that, but it really did cause me to feel a little bit pain later on if I wanted to load and go heavy. I don't have that issue anymore, okay? So let's see how we can marry squat A and squat B and have just that happy medium. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can find that medium position. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the bell loaded. So from here, now I'm gonna pull myself down and back. So I'm gonna pull down. So this is more squat A, but I'm gonna pull, 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 and start sitting back. Pull. So I'm bending, I'm going down further versus back. So there are different ways you can play with it, but my recommendation at the end of the day, pull yourself there. Don't just drop down and bounce out of it, okay? Keep your tension, stay tight, okay? And again, if you're loading yourself, try not to lose the lumbar curve. If it happens, it's not the end of the world, but if you want to continue to go heavy in life, and as we get older, it is the safest way. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at some other people's squats.
Okay, so look at Holly's squat. Now Holly does have shoes on, but she also has very good ankle mobility. Also, structurally, she has a longer torso, so this really allows her to do slightly more of a squat A because she does not have any rounding of her back when she's going straight down. Therefore, with Holly's structure, this version is perfect for her and she can go a lot lower than most people. Next up is Franz on the left and Michael on the right. Now notice how he pulls his knees apart and drives himself down with control. And notice how slow Franz goes as well. Franz has shoes on, which helps his spine. He is pulling from his knees and his hips. Now watch Michael over here to the right. I don't know Michael's background, but look how low he is able to get. He does have a bit of a rounded spine at the bottom, but as of now it doesn't seem to bother him very much. And here's a few more examples you can see of the pullback version, more of squat B in class with flat feet, and then now with the heels lifted on kettlebells. Notice how much lower Carrie is able to go with the heels. So you have to decide what squat is best for you.